Right, today we're going to make chickpeas. Now, a lot of people don't know what to do with these, so we're going to show you how to make a very easy, simple chickpea curry. And the wife is out of isolation today, and it's a birthday. So happy birthday, everybody. To start off, we've got our sunflower oil. It's the same one we've been using for all the videos, just a bit of flora, sunflower oil, and we've just coated the bottom of this pan. And we're going to add into that something I'm going to just show you a bit more detail rather than just throwing it in like all the other videos. We're going to add some cumin seeds to that, about 2.5 spoons from our spice rack thingy, and here we go, half more, and basically that, as you can see, in the oil. I'm going to let them cook in the oil a little bit, and I'll just brown nicely, and they turn into a bit of an orange colour, don't they? Just cooking them away, and as you can see, not much of a flame. It is sort of a mild flame, let's just say. It all depends. You'll know if your flame is too much. You don't want anything to burn when you cook, just want it to cook naturally. So we'll let them fry away. So like I said, these are canned chickpeas that you buy from any supermarkets. Just drain the water out and let them sit. They're ready to be used. I'm sure you can eat these edible. They're edible straight out the can, aren't they? Yeah. So we've already diced up our onion, ready. Got our spices, a few more things to go in there. So add in fresh green chilli. I've been using chilli flakes a lot, but fresh green chilli is very traditional in all Indian recipes. And you can see she just sort of sliced. My lovely assistant has just sliced down the middle and just into fairly thin pieces, and everything goes in, seeds and the skin, the whole of the chilli. Make sure you wash your hands afterwards. Into the pan, the cumin's been going just a couple of minutes. It sort of pops because they are seeds, and we're going to just add in the onions. So there's 2 sort of medium-sized onions that we sliced in. We are cooking quite a big portion here because there's a big family of 6 here. So obviously you'll cater to the size of your family, or you might just want to cook in the same quantity, and then you can always keep it for later on as well. I'm going to let these onions now just brown off and cook, and then add all the other spices in, apart from the masala. Remember, I put masala into the last curry that I did. What was it? The aloo gobi, and it started sticking to the burning to the pan. So we're going to add the garam masala in slightly later, so it doesn't burn. We've got a bit more oil in this than the wok frying. We're using quite a deep pan, as you can see, for these choleh. As they're browning off now, as you can see, the other thing we put in is ginger and chilli. There's 1 fresh green chilli, diced quite small, and the ginger basically is that size. Buy it fresh from most shops. Go to your Indian shops, it's a little bit cheaper, and peel it and then give it a good grate, and you'll have the ginger. So that's going to go into the pan as well. Very hard to do with one hand. Okay, the ginger and the chilli has gone in there, and we're just going to stir that in until it all mixes in. It's already giving up lots of smells, and it hasn't got most of the spices in yet. So people put garlic into a lot of their dishes, don't they, Shab?
Yeah, but we tend not to.
We sort of leave it out. I don't know why. So you can throw garlic in. I know people like a lot of garlic. There was one commenter who said, "Where's the garlic?" So yeah, throw the garlic in. Whatever spices you like. There's no actual limits on the type of spices or what type of taste you get out of your dish. It is experimental. You have a go, and if it doesn't come out quite the way you want it, just do it again. The onions are browning off. They're starting to change colour. We've got ginger and the chilli in there. What we're going to add is the salt. So the same spoon that we used earlier for the cumin seeds, we're going to put a nice spoon and maybe half more, and we're going to add to that turmeric. Again, turmeric I like to sort of throw in. It gives it the colour, very good healing properties. So I'm going to put a good spoon and a bit of that, and then we got the masala. We're going to add this to it now because I've got quite a bit of oil in here, so it shouldn't stick. I'm going to put in a couple of spoons of the masala. So in goes spices, and we're going to give them a good mix, and straight away they'll all start changing colour. Right, these chickpeas that we're going to cook are served in various ways. You can sort of have them with a fresh raita, yogurt made with spices and cucumber or onions, or you can have it with rice. But traditionally it's served with Bhatoore or puriyan. It's like a version, a bread version that's fried. We'll show you that at another date. We're going to add in a few tomatoes, gives it a nice reddish colour, and makes it quite juicy as well, because this is going to be quite a runny curry, and we're going to use cherry tomatoes for this. Just normal cherry tomatoes, and we blitzed them in the blender. As you can see, they're just a sort of a tomato juice, so we're going to put those in. You can actually dice these up very small with your knife and do it that way, but we've just sort of blitzed it. Has the same effect. If you like the texture of the tomatoes, you can actually leave them whole. You can use tinned tomatoes as well. People use tinned plum tomatoes. You can use them as well. So we've added about 5 cherry tomatoes into that mix. Look at that. Look at the colour. It's already changed. The onions are frying. All those spices, the seeds, ginger, chilli. It's looking good. Leave the gas on that same medium to low setting, and let everything cook nice and slowly. Don't want to burn anything. And just on the chickpeas, these are the chickpeas we're using. As you can see, other brands are available. Firm and nutty, it says there. So they're basically in their own tagine water. We drain the water away. That water actually is used in a lot of recipes, used by people who don't eat eggs. So it uses a bit of an egg replacement. So you can use that. There's 2 cans of chickpeas already drained in the colander. As you can see, they're browned off nicely, and we're going to just add in all those chickpeas. I go in there. Doesn't take long for the onions and the ginger and the garlic and the tomatoes to come together. It's important to get them cooked but not overcook them. So get those chickpeas, and we're just going to fold them over, because remember, these chickpeas are already pre-cooked in the can, ready to eat. So we're just going to coat them with all those spices and the onions and all those flavours. Looking good. Is it looking good?
Yeah, lovely.
I've got my advisor with me today, so I'm on strict following the recipe. I would have thrown everything in, as you know. Right, those chickpeas are folded in with those spices, still in the very low to medium heat. And what we're going to add is boiled water. And what we're going to do with this boiled water is you just basically keep adding until you sort of fill, and you cover all the chickpeas, as you can see, and then you go a little bit further, just so it's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch above the chickpeas. Remember, when this boils, the water's going to evaporate away, so don't worry too much about it. If you need to put slightly less in, put less in, and then you can put more in after. As you can see, they're all covered with the water, and there's about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch over the chickpeas. So if we need any more water afterwards, we will. So now we're going to just let these warm up and come to the boil and do their work. Right, we're going to turn the gas up from the medium to sort of a higher setting, just to promote the boiling of the sauce. It is boiling water, it just gives it a head start if it's boiled water. It's going to cover that now. The dish we've got, as you can see, got some holes in the side, so it's sort of got gaps. If you haven't got that type of dish, just leave your dish just slightly ajar. And we're just going to come back to it in a few minutes and see how it's doing. The trade I'm going to tell you about now. This is quite a runny mix that we've got here, and obviously it's going to evaporate away, we hope. But if you have put too much water in there and it is is too runny, then what you can do is add corn flour in there. Mix a bit of corn flour with some water and add it in there. If you haven't got corn flour, trick of the trade is mashed potato. Yes, just your normal, ready-made mashed potato, instant mashed potato, and you can put some of that directly into that, and it'll just thicken it up. Trick of the trade. See, we've got the gas off now, and just took the lid off, and they have come out fairly good. Actually, that's again, there's a sauce there, and it is supposed to be runny. You're supposed to have that tari, we call it, the consistency. You don't want it too thick. Again, I've gave you that trick of the trade of adding in a bit of instant mashed potato if you haven't got any corn flour, just to thicken it up if you think it's too runny. And that basically is almost ready to eat. So just to finish that off, one thing I haven't been using yet is coriander. Fresh coriander. Again, this is very easy to grow, so you can grow your own. Most of your herbs, mint especially, very easy to grow. This is from the Indian shop down the road. Very fresh. You can smell it, and we're going to put all of that into there. Just take the remainder off there. It actually is very strong. Some people have indicated they don't like coriander, so don't want to put it in, don't put it in, because it is quite a strong smell. Where's my spoon gone? We're just gonna fold that coriander in. Coriander will sort of always goes at the end because it doesn't really require any really long cooking or anything. And as you can see, there you go. That you have is choleh, and the choleh, the chickpea curry as you like to call it, will be served with bhatoore, which is if I get some time I might cook, or maybe some rice, or maybe your simple chapatis, or a side dish with maybe a bowl of dal as well, or a nice fresh yogurt. There you go, chickpea curry.